Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for a 4v4 team matchmaker game played on the map Adaptive Broken Headland. And let's get into player introductions with the red team in the north and the blue team in the south, starting with the maroon Seraphim going first land, and his name is Blue Lynx. Then moving on to the east of him, we have ourselves a bright red Cybran going first land by the name of Moxnat. Then his next ally over to the west, a yellow UEF going first land, and he is a funny man. He's here to spread some joy. His name is Joker. As we move on to the last player of Team 1, a orange Aeon going first land, and it is none other than Excited, and I'm excited to see what he's gonna bring to the table today. As we move on to Team 2, we're gonna be starting with the light blue Aeon going first land, and his name is so beautiful, just like his faction. It is, of course, Banana Smoothie. Then we can move on to his first ally, the dark blue Seraphim going first land, my peer and compatriot, a fellow caster. His name is Derp, and on YouTube he is Supreme Command Derp. And I'll try and remember to put a link in the description. If I don't, yell at me in the comments, I'll make it happen. As we move on to the central player, a Aeon going Cyan. A Cyan going Aeon. A Cyan Aeon. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But hey, here we are. We're riding the train. We're here. We're all together. And he's going by the name of Strider. At least that's how I'm going to interpret how to say his name. And last but not least, the man, the myth, the Balance Slave. He is, of course, otherwise known as Grimplex, and he is, of course, the most depressed 2000 rated player on FAF, believe you me. And with that out of the way, we can talk about the map. Man, took so long to get around to it, but of course, 3.5 thousand reclaim, very low reclaim for a 20 by 20 kilometer map. And of course, it's a Navy map, it's a boat map. We're gonna see lots and lots of boats. We have a very nice kind of chasm here in the middle. I think it's a chasm, I don't think that's painted. That will make, I guess, traversal for amphibious units a little bit awkward, but overall, we're looking at a huge open expanse of water. There's only a couple of choke points. There's this X of choke points, but other than that, we're gonna just be seeing these players having an all-out boxing match with their naval units, and it's gonna be very, very fun. Very happy to see this map. Never casted it before. I don't even think I've played it, but I am happy to see it, as it is very beautiful, and it's gonna be very fun to watch these higher rated players play it out. We do have quite the range of ratings in this game, everywhere from a 900, almost 1000, all the way up to somebody almost 2200 rated. So we're going to be seeing a wide range of play, but overall it's pretty high level, with 1400 being the average rating for both of these teams here. A slight advantage in rating over to the northern team. To the southern team. Mostly that is going to be through the hands of Balance Slave being at 2156, quite the outlier to bring the average rating of the team up. But we're going to have to see how these players duke it out, as we have our first little bit of action with a transport. In fact, a couple of transports out on the map, 3 transports in total for the southern team, and I don't see a single transport going out for the other sides. The transport of Balance Slave already over to this little kind of contestable island, as the commander of Moxnat starts walking towards that island himself. We also have a drop of an engineer onto this northern island out from Banana Smoothie, and we have another fully laden transport that is gonna get shot down by some interceptors, it would seem, out from Strider, who is just desperately trying to micro enough to save his transport from these interceptors coming out from Excited. Excited is excitedly pursuing. Oh, is it gonna be enough? No, it's not, and the transport goes down with all hands. And that's going to be very, very sad for Strider. But the other transport out for Banana Smoothie does manage to drop successfully, and we're going to see Banana Smoothie with engineers on both of these islands to the north. I mean, this one may not be an island. This might be like an entire continent. But hey, let's not think about that here. Very, very interesting play coming out from all these players. Over here to the east, we have Derp going to be dropping a fully laden, or no, not fully laden, just 4 engineers or 3 engineers and a tank down onto this southeastern outcropping of land. And Grimplex is going to have a little bit of struggles here. There is a commander making landfall. Moxnat going to be able to get that Cybern commander up onto the mainland here, and Balance Slave just doesn't have a commander here. We're also going to see some engineers dropped out from Moxnat. He's really going to try and get himself set up. There's a couple of interceptors here, but they're not going to be fast enough to shoot down that transport. So right now, Moxnat making a heavy play to take over this kind of central island. Is he going to be able to do it? Balance Slave now sending his commander out to try and take over some map control himself, but Moxnat already being set up here, already having the engineers. That commander is worth 20 tanks, so it's going to be very difficult. But if anybody in this game is capable of just fending this off, I would guess it to be Grimplex. Meanwhile, on the northern side of things, we have a bit of a development over here on this island. There does seem to be a bit more concentrated build power coming out from Excited, so Excited may be able to grab onto this island pretty easily. He is up against, of course, Banana Smoothie, who is much lower rated but has managed to set up an anti-air turret, does have a PD queued up. But there's going to be a fight here. There is a bunch of flares now coming out of this base. It's Aeon on Aeon violence, which is the worst kind. And up here to the far north, we see the engineers out from Blue Links going to be most likely going to be taking over this area. There's no way that this singular engineer beats a factory. That's just not something that happens. And that's going to mean that this northern side of the map is very much so going to be going to Team 1. And the southern side looking like it's going to go to Team 2. Doesn't seem like Moxnat is able to get his commander out here in time. He did rush it here, but it just doesn't seem like Grimplex is going to be able to get ousted here. He just has so many units already set up. Has killed off a lot of those engineers that were causing him troubles. There's a few factories going up, but there's so many units already built up here for Balance Slave. It'll be hard for Moxnat to get any kind of real foothold. In fact, he may be under threat of just straight out dying if he isn't careful. The commander over here of Strider showing up to try and help deal with Excited's aggression here in the central part of the map. Strider going to bring the commander. Could possibly see this commander just walk up and start killing off flares. They're all going to be they're all going to take 2 shots, so it's going to be relatively quick things for these this commander to dispatch. As I'm apparently struggling with words. As over here to the east, the factories out from Moxnat really not doing very well. Gonna be harassed down by the exterior forces of Balance Slave, who is currently just trying to say, hey, this is my island, get away from it. Also, we have a bit of a naval engagement going on between Derp and Moxnat. Moxnat playing very aggressively here in the T1 phase, has his naval units out on the field, has his commander out onto the field, trying to make something happen. But unfortunately for him, it just seems like the combined efforts of Derp and Grimplex are just going to be too much. His comm is probably going to have to run away here soon. Luckily, he did win that naval engagement between him and Derp, so for the moment, he should be able to just walk away and stay alive. Not really going to be under threat of just dying, but he is going to have to cede this entire territory that he was going to fight so hard for. And over here to the north, we now have the commander of Strider starting to make its way into combat, starting to shoot down some of these tanks and some of these artillery coming out from Excited. Strider and Banana Smoothie, the 2 lowest rated players in the game, just trying their damnedest to gain some map control against Excited. As up here to the north, both sides are developing. Does seem as though there was some form of combat unit drop onto Excited's territory. He's lost 2 mexes. There's still a couple of units kicking around over here for Derp. Derp going to be very happy with that harassment he's managed to lay down. I wonder if the transport got. It doesn't seem as though the transport was caught out by, at least not nearby the actual units. Maybe this is the transport. Nope, that's a interceptor. Where'd the transport go down? That might, yeah, that's the transport. All right. We found the transport. We found it. We got him, boys. We can go home. We can go home proud and loud. As Excited now has some units kind of just chilling here, getting real close to the production of Banana Smoothie. Banana Smoothie looking really light on the Navy when you compare him to his opposition of Excited and, of course, Blue Lynx. And Blue Lynx really starting to bear down on this position of Banana Smoothie. Meanwhile, on the eastern side, we're going to see something a bit similar going on with Grimplex now starting to put his toes into the water, getting straight to T2, not even going to bother with spamming up some frigates. Well, I mean, I guess he did spam out a couple. He's just going to rely on derp at least for this T1 phase, but up here to the north, it's starting to look very scary with the combined efforts of Excited and Blue Lynx. Does seem as though Banana Smoothie may just be ousted really early on here, and if he is, this situation gets very, very dangerous for Strider, who's kind of locked his commander stuck onto this island. He's gonna have to kind of find a way to alleviate some of the pressure on his blue ally if he wants any chance of not being trapped out in enemy territory very, very soon. The attack onto the naval production of Banana Smoothie has begun. There are a few torpedo launchers built up, but those are relatively easy for frigates to focus down. As long as there's a concerted effort coming out from both Blue Lynx and Excited, they might be able to take this over. It's going to be very hard for Banana Smoothie to stay in this game from a naval perspective. Meanwhile, up here to the northeast, we have something somewhat similar going on for Moxnat. He's going to have some struggles with the Zooey and frigate pressure coming out towards him from Derp and Grimplex. Also, if I call Balance Slave Grimplex, just know that is Grimplex. That's just what I know him by, so that's what I'm just hardwired for that name. As up here to the north, this middle island, there's Strider still out reclaiming. Speaking of reclaim, Strider doing pretty well for himself at 2.7 thousand, but nothing in comparison to Joker, who is sitting at 6.5 thousand. This yellow player just managing to scoop up all of the mass on the map. Going to be very happy with his situation there. Grimplex also doing pretty well at 2.8 thousand. Strider all the way up to 3.6 thousand now. Has managed to get a lot of reclaim from somewhere. Maybe that commander was actually getting quite a little bit there, as right now overall economies are looking like Balance Slave against the world right now. 110 mass a second, and the rest of his team is the bottom of the scoreboard. So that is gonna be very interesting to watch. The economic game is gonna develop in such a way that Grimplex right now is just gonna have to really carry his team, which is kind of to be expected with the difference between his rating and everybody else in this game. It's kind of on his shoulders right now. A bunch of submarines now coming out from Moxnat to try and counter this naval aggression, but guess what? Submarines don't really hit Zooies very well because they hover. So these Zooies going to come in and start dealing some damage. There is a frigate now out to kind of stop that aggression from getting too far, but right now Moxnat really hemmed into his base. And it's going to be dangerous, as in the coming moments he's going to be facing more and more T2 Navy. We're seeing a Valiant class destroyer already out onto the map. Do we have any T3 mechs upgrades on the way? Wouldn't be surprised to see it if we do. Out from Balance Slave. We're not seeing it quite yet, but he is still capping mexes. We already have a T3 mex finished up. That might have been a misclick, but I don't know. The fact that it is not currently ringed with mass storage, though, is very, very... That's not good. That's not good, Grimplex. But then again, he has a T3 mex. It's okay. Listen, if you're ballin', it's okay to make a mistake, because he's already just, he's way ahead economically of everybody else, but does need to be worried, as up here to the north we do have Team Red just getting a lot of Navy built up, getting in a very dangerous position. We also have Strider kind of locked out over here. Could see a snipe onto that commander. Not sure you'd want to. Pretty sure the base would go to Grimplex, and you do have to think about these things in a full share game. You have to decide who you do and do not want to assassinate, and of course these players all well aware of that, as we're kind of in a bit of a stalemate. Neither side really getting a definitive win right now, but Grimplex building up a T2 Navy. We also, I think, are going to see T2 Navy coming out from other players very soon. Yep, we have Excited showing up with T2 Navy, starting to build some Vespers. Going to be very spicy to see how well those do. And is posturing their Navy down here to the southwest towards the commander and the production of Banana Smoothie. Would like to see some inter-teammate cooperation going on here, because I was gonna say interagency cooperation. You know what? Yeah, each player is just like it's like an intelligence agency. Interagency cooperation here, as both of those Vespers going down. That's just gonna be a reclaim. Really nice reclaim dump here. Speaking of reclaim, in just this area, we have 2.3 thousand. Banana Smoothie really needs to get on top of that, start seeing the reclaim opportunities. And where is Strider's comm? Strider manages to get onto a transport and is just going to get back home. And there is no real concerted effort coming out from the air of Team 1 up here to the north to really shut that down, as we continue to creep our way towards the 20-minute mark here. We have ourselves a strong T2 Navy coming out from Derp and Grimplex. On the other side, we're starting to see T2 Navy coming out from Blue Lynx and Excited. It is very much so the game split on this axis of the X. And it's starting to get dicey for both teams on different sides of the map. A few Volthu gunships now out over here to the center of the map to just try and clean up this nasty eyesore that is the base of Banana Smoothie on this island. And a huge drop of land units coming out from Excited. Excited is excitedly making plays, and he's going to try and deal a very damaging blow down on towards Balance Slave, who is just in a bit of a pickle, but does build up a T1 PD relatively quickly. Is going to lose that T2 Max, so this attack already pretty much worth it. But down here to the south, wait, was that a T3 Max? No, it was only a T2 Max. But now these units, the main group of units over here, needs to be careful. T1 Bomber is going to be very effective. It is just Auroras, and you're going to see these Auroras be dying to the T1 Bomber spam coming out from both Derp and Balance Slave. Meanwhile, over here to the east, we have a bit of a naval engagement between Balance Slave, Derp, and Moxnack. Derp and Balance Slave really working together as of late. They're really just helping each other out across the map. But right now it does seem as though the Navy of Moxnack does live to fight another day. His small contingent, his small flotilla just barely holding out against the combined pressure of the purple and blue players against him. As over to the west, we're about to see a very similar engagement. I keep on saying that, but right now it seems like Blue Lynx has had just enough of Banana Smoothie's presence in the water over here and is looking to bear down on this position. But there are so very many torpedo launchers over here, 11 of them. That could be dangerous if you just waltz on in. If he sits back and uses the destroyers to pick those off, though, it would be a very easy play coming out for the northern team. Meanwhile, over here to the east, we still have the naval engagements going on between these players, and Moxnat, he's just kind of run out of boats, and when you run out of boats, you're in a very difficult position. The Red Cybern might just be knocked out of the water right here and right now as those Seraphim destroyers move forward along with the help of a couple of Valiants, and the cruisers out here, mass cruiser coming out from Balance Slave along with a couple of bulwarks means that this position is just untenable, and Moxnat is gonna have to abdicate the throne of this beach over towards the enemy team, and it's just such a bitter pill to swallow for the Red Cybern, who does manage to finish stealth, which may save their life for just a little bit, but I'm not sure if they even get to walk away from this, as both Grimplex and Derp here are going to be having a lot of torpedo damage coming out from all of these destroyers in the area. Moxnat having to walk away. Moxnat also has torpedo on the commander. I think I see some torpedoes coming out from that commander. And this is just looking dangerous, and Moxnat goes down. Ends up killing off a few of those naval units out from Grimplex and Derp. But in the end, Moxnat's base gonna go to one of his allies. I believe it goes to Excited. Yes, it does. And that means that this naval position gonna get a lot harder for the northern team. But on the southern side, we have something very similar happening. Luckily, I didn't miss a death. Banana Smoothie could have been in the exact opposite position, but both sides of the map lose huge swaths of territory in very short periods of time. And now we're probably going to start seeing those cruiser wars start up. You're going to start seeing a lot of cruisers coming out from players like Derp, players like Grimplex, and of course Blue Lynx, because they want to get that siege damage down onto the opposition's base. We also are starting to see the proliferation of air power, lots of torpedo bombers on both sides, the entire navy of Derp and of Balance Slave being killed off by torpedo bombers here. Really unfortunate for both of those players. And right now, if we just check out the reclaim just in the water right here, 22,000, that could be huge. If Excited can get a bunch of engineers out into those waters, that might be great for him. Meanwhile, down here in the south, we also have, of course, not quite as much. There wasn't as big of a fight, but 10,000, give or take some, mass there as my phone goes off. So sorry, I need to turn it to vibrate there. And of course, now we're looking at the reclaim games. It's going to be very important. 42,000 reclaim on the field, and the players who start soaking up this reclaim the best are going to be the players who are going to be in very strong positions. Right now, Excited going to be able to scoop up so much reclaim, could be able to throw that into pretty much any project on the map and would be successful in doing so. So going to be interested to see what he does. He's also sitting on the highest mass income in the game. Right now, it's all eyes on Excited, but also we have to keep in mind that Balance Slave over here, while he is losing some of these mexes to cruisers, is in an incredibly strong position, having complete control of this island over here, having all of these T3 mexes nearly matching the economy of Excited, who has 2 bases, and you could argue 3 with this island. Excited is ahead, but not by too terribly much. But overall, Team 1 doing better on the economic scale of things. Blue Lynx, the weakest link on their team, and he is even above 100 mass a second alone. Strider and Banana Smoothie, as is to be expected, are struggling a little bit with their economies. Both of them unable to crest that 100 mass a second mark. As we pass the 22-minute mark, we see these players starting to form battle lines, starting to get ready to deal heavy blows on the enemy team. We also have Excited sending all of his navy down here. He wants to reestablish naval control down here. If he can manage that, that would be huge. If he can manage to just hold on and stop Derp and Balance Slave from getting any kind of naval siege damage done, that would be huge. As down here to the south, his ally Blue Lynx, with the naval victory alone, is going to be able to set himself up for a strong naval siege. Also have a lot of hover now coming out from Excited, trying to get some damage done. We have some miasma artillery showing up to try and deal some damage over here onto this side of the map. And that is going to be some T2 mexes most likely going down now for Banana Smoothie, who is just in such a dangerous position. His comm now in the water. I don't know if getting out of the water is the best play here, but he's in danger of just being killed off. Kind of summarily executed by the naval presence coming out from Blue Lynx. Also, of course, have some other dangers going on, though, for the northern team. With all of these torpedo bombers out on this field, there's really nothing that can deal with him at the moment. So they're just going to slowly kill off the navy of Blue Lynx until he gets out a whole bunch more cruisers, or goes for some of that mobile AA, the Flax that the Seraphim have access to, and so do the Aeon. You should go watch the video that was put out by the Duelist on T2 Mobile AA. Really shows how powerful those flak can be. They can change engagements where the torpedo bomber would be incredibly mass efficient into engagements where the torpedo bomber just is hemorrhaging mass. Something to keep in mind for your own naval plays. As over here to the east, we do see the Navy of Balance Slave pushing in, trying to stop Excited from getting set up over here. Derp has decided to kind of just give up on all kind of naval play, is just ecoing really hard. Not seeing very much come out from that Seraphim player to the southern side of the map. As Balance Slave really wants complete naval dominance over here, wants to start dealing damage towards Excited, but Excited is doing very well and is getting some assistance out from Joker to curb the aggression coming out from Balance Slave, and Balance Slave needs to be careful. There's already a lot of reclaim here. I know that they're fighting to stop the reclaim efforts of Excited, but every unit you lose over here just gives Excited more to reclaim if you fail. And over to the west, Blue Lynx is going to be forced back. The naval efforts now of Banana Smoothie going to get reestablished. As Balance Slave continues, is hemorrhaging units up here. These torpedo bombers, they just don't have an answer. And it's getting difficult for the purple UEF player. As down to the south, Derp now building, getting T3 on the commander, already has, I believe that is ARAS, but I might be wrong. Let's just go ahead and check. That is, nope, that's just normal RAS. Going for T3, could see ARAS on the comm very soon. And we're gonna speed the game up a little bit as we're in a bit of a lull right now. Also, everybody remember to hydrate. Gotta make sure you get your drink of water and make sure you have a snack, and go down in the comments, tell me how you're doing. But we're in a bit of a lull right now. We can talk about economies here in a second. Ah, water, so good. And speaking of economies right now, while we look at the list, we can see that right now Team 1 is ahead economically by nearly 200 mass a second. So Team 1 should just be in a very strong position here. Excited is leading the charge of his team with 350 to 370-ish mass a second at any given time. Meanwhile, Joker also doing very strong with over 300 mass a second. Balance Slave has fallen behind. He's not ecoed quite as much as I would have expected, and he's only at 277 mass a second. Derp already over 200 as well. Blue Lynx over 200, and then Banana Smoothie and Strider both struggling in the 100 mass a second range. And that's not to say that they're poor, because 100 mass a second, 140 mass a second, that's still a lot of mass a second, but it's just nothing compared to nearing 400 for Excited. So gonna have to keep an eye on these players and what exactly they're going for, because we are getting to that range where you're going to see experimentals, we're going to see nukes, we're going to see a lot of things going on, and we just have to keep our eyes out. As now we have Mass High, or Mass Kennel now assisting a gateway. We're in the late game now, boys. And with battle cruisers and large navies starting to form down here on the south, and in the north with Banana Smoothie managing to get re-situated. In fact, getting a lot of reclaim there, 22,000. Banana Smoothie and Excited really the players to watch for reclaim right now. Both sides really trying their damnedest to get any kind of damage done, but it's been a very stagnant map. We haven't seen much movement for about 10-ish minutes between these two teams. A bunch of torpedo bombers now out from Joker, making their way down towards the naval production of Banana Smoothie. Might even just be going for the HQ. It does seem as though that's the case. An Omen class battleship being produced now by Banana Smoothie, as the air is going to respond, going to try and kill off those torpedo bombers, but the torpedo bombers did their job. They got the kill onto that T3 naval HQ, and I think Banana Smoothie just going to be forced back onto land once again. As over here to the east, we have lots of torpedo bombers coming in, but they're just going to be killed off by the ASF coming out from Strider. And the cruisers, those bulwark shields really eating a lot of damage there. And that's going to be a very good trade on this side of the map for the southern team, as they lose naval control completely yet again down here in the south. A bunch of ASF out from Joker are sitting over here just trying to protect the naval siege that is now being built up by Blue Lynx. And I think I like the position of the northern team quite a little bit more. Blue Lynx is going to be able to start his naval siege very soon. Sure, there's some TMD, but that's a lot of cruisers to deal with. Does have air cover as well. And on the other side, Excited is still holding strong. He doesn't look like he's going to be winning the Navy anytime soon, but he is keeping Balance Slave at bay. And Derp is back into naval production, but also has pivoted into a T3 air role. Wants to help his team on the air front. I'm also a bit surprised to not see air grid being thrown up by Excited. There is, of course, the air grid of Joker, who is doing very well in the air game. But in these later stages of the game, you generally want to see everybody getting involved in that air game, because every ASF matters. As the naval siege over here to the west is going down. The shields have fallen. The miasmas are under threat from being killed off by destroyers. Banana Smoothie is getting some kind of upgrade. Going for... I don't even know what Banana Smoothie is going for. He's been upgrading for a long time, it would seem. Ras has finished for Banana Smoothie. Going for an economic upgrade there. And the naval siege is still going very well. Needs to make sure he continues this, but the Navy out from Derp now starting to encroach on the Navy of Blue Lynx. Blue Lynx should still have control over here. Meanwhile, over here to the east, we have a large naval push now coming out from Balance Slave, and it seems that he's managed to get enough of an air presence coming out from his ally Strider to just hold on here. The bulwarks and the governors are able to deal with this as long as these ASF stay nearby. And over here to the west, naval engagement brewing between Derp and Blue Lynx. Seraphim on Seraphim violence is the only violence I approve of. And here it is right here now on the greatest display for you. Down goes one of those cruisers, very unfortunate. But the destroyer count for Derp is just too damn high. And that means that Blue Lynx is going to be pretty much wiped off the map as far as Navy is concerned. And Derp has really just decided that he's going to fight this northern naval fight, meanwhile letting Grimplex down to the south fight off Excited basically by himself, but he's just winning the fight. And this is starting to look very dangerous for the northern team. They have more reclaim, they have more mass per second, but they're just not winning the naval games. The players with the most economy aren't investing nearly as much into Navy as the opposing team. And more shit counters less shit. And while they have more economy, they're not making more shit to throw at the wall. With torpedo bombers seeming to be the only option that was keeping them afloat. Now with the air presence of Strider, you have to ask yourself the question, what are they going to do? How are they going to respond to this? Because now with Excited being completely wiped off Navy-wise from this area of the map, he's going to start taking huge attritional damage from all these governors. How many governors have been built? 16 governors out on the map right now for Grimplex. That's going to be very difficult to just throw up enough TMD to stop. So Grimplex is going to start getting some major damage down here very soon. And meanwhile on the northern side, Blue Lynx is contending with the Navy of Derp, and Derp just seems to be winning it. As Derp has so many Zooies coming out of these factories over here. He's built next to Banana Smoothie, has Reclaim rolling in, has a huge amount of assistance on these two naval factories, which are just pumping out destroyers and frigates and cruisers to be used in the fight up to the north. As all of the governors begin firing their payloads in towards the bases of Excited mostly, but also we're going to start seeing some of these missiles fly astray and go towards the base of Joker. And Excited is not excited about this current development, as these cruisers are just going to wreak havoc. All the missiles being launched out of those cruisers right now. And up to the north, Derp is he's just pushing back. Blue Lynx is being hemmed into a corner. It's a very scary situation for the northern team. Do they have anything going on in their bases which could help with this? And Awasa is nearing completion. That could be huge. But Blue Lynx needs to make sure that he doesn't lose his entire naval production for it. As over here to the east, Tempest now on the way for Excited. But Excited has completely lost this secondary base, and with that, it's brought the teams back to economic parity, 1.1 thousand mats a second for both of these teams. The advantage has all but disappeared for the northern team. And the southern team is really rallying against the absolute dominance that was on display from the northern team just moments ago. As Derp and Grimplex just putting on a stunning show. We also have to give some credit to Banana Smoothie for just absolutely rolling with the punches, and Strider for helping balance Slave. There's been a lot of teamwork going on. And up here on the northern side, we have seen some cooperation coming from Excited and Joker. And they're both sitting on very strong economies, but what are they going to do? The Awasa is done, and it's going to start flying out towards the west. I'm guessing it's going to try and kill off some of this Navy. That's really causing him struggles. The battleship from earlier has been killed off, probably by these torpedo bombers mostly. And all of the Zooies on the map are just going ham. They're just going everywhere, all across the map right now. And the Awasa seemingly going to go for the main base. Where is the air response is the question. There's really not a lot of ASF for the southern team. This could be a critical mistake. I'm not seeing... All of the ASF are over here, and they're for Strider, and they're going to have to come all the way back as Grimplex eats an Awasa bomb to the face. Oh no, it's a disaster. That's painful right there. And now the Awasa going to come in. It's going to go for the air grid of Strider, and it's also going to manage to get off a bomb that'll kill off the nuke launcher as well. And that's the entirety of the air production for Strider going down in one fell swoop. And there's maybe enough ASF just kicking around to kill this off, but it's definitely going to get off another bomb, maybe even get another rank of veterancy if it's lucky. Another bomb coming down. If it's able to kill off the air grid, that could be huge. But no, it just lands on the shield quite harmlessly. Gonna have to see if he can get another bomb off with this Awasa onto the air grid. If he can get the air grid of Derp, that could be huge. But another shield goes up very quickly. The bomb thrown down. And the air grid gonna take heavy damage at that. Now with some SAM sites going online, needs to make sure that he gets the Awasa away. It's 8,000 HP is falling quickly. If he can just drop a bomb onto pretty much any of these mexes, that'll be huge, but it does seem as though he's going for the anti-nuke maybe. As the next bomb comes in, is it going to be able to get the rank of veterancy before dying? Need to see if that bomb explodes in time, and it does get the rank of veterancy just in time and helps kill off most of the rest of the air grid. Where is the bomber gonna go next? Drops a bomb over here, gonna pick up a couple more T3 mexes. And that's gonna put it onto 3 ranks of veterancy, and this Awasa has been huge for the Northern team. They're still losing Navy. They've been locked in as far as Navy is concerned. They're not getting the end to the water again, but maybe they can use air to win this. Flies over a few more SAMs, doesn't quite manage to kill off that T3 Naval HQ, but the micro coming out from Blue Links on this Awasa has been pretty good so far. Has managed to drop quite a few bombs. Gonna drop another bomb over here on towards Strider. Gonna kill off a couple more of those mexes. But on the other side of the map, it's just collapsing. An utter collapse from the naval pressure coming out from Grimplex and from Derp. Where is the bomber gonna go next? That's the question. Does drop another bomb right here. Is up to 4 ranks of veterancy. Is killed over 100,000 mass. But the bomber is just not enough. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. It's devastated a lot of these bases. Another bomber out. Microing 2 bombers at once is going to be difficult. Is flying over some SAMs. Has 12,000 HP. Double Awasa. Die. Very upset with that bomber's resilience to death. Another bomb gonna come down. Is gonna eat. Strider's gonna eat it in the face. Strider almost dead. But the base of Excited is falling apart at the seams. 5 ranks of veterancy, 122,000 mass killed. In any other game, in any other situation, that Awasa would be game winning. But not in this one. As right now, Balance Slave is just doing a lot of work. Right now, the play for the Northern team is to hold out, hope that they've managed to accrue a big enough economic advantage, but they really just haven't. They're still behind economically, and the Awasa's gonna go down to the mass SAMs built up by Banana Smoothie. And the second Awasa is out over here trying to get kills onto naval targets. But Balance Slave has just set himself up for so much success. There's so many summits. The Awasa yet again, another one coming out. This one also going to start going for the main base. It just feels like Blue Links decided that the only way he's going to be able to get anything done is by dealing damage to their economies, but the economies aren't the issue. It's the issue right now is the fact that Balance Slave has 200,000 mass and naval units, and you have 0. The bases of Excited and Joker are falling apart at the seams. The Awasa's come in, it's killed off one of the naval factories for Derp, but in response for that, it's lost all but 11,000 HP. Balance Slave over here, gonna be in a bit of danger with the Awasa being so close by. Good job. What's that good job about? Interesting. I wonder if that's salt. And over here to the east, bomb drops. Gonna be able to get off a little bit more damage. Gonna have to shoot down yet another ASF. This is Awasa at 86 kills. And 1 rank of veterancy. Might be able to find the commander of Balance Slave here. But even if you get the commander, it's pretty difficult thing to lose this game at this point for the Southern team. And it just feels like the writing is on the wall. Grimplex gonna start running to the water as the bomber comes in, gonna drop its first payload, but it's almost dead, and it does just die. And Grimplex gonna walk away with 4,000 HP. Not gonna be happy about eating a Wassa to the face, but there are much worse fates. And with that, I can't imagine this game going on for too much longer. Another Wassa is trying to be built by Blue Lynx. Gonna speed it up because I just don't see how this northern team comes up with any way of survival. They're just locked onto this main island. It's been a slow and gruesome death at the hands of Derp and Grimplex as they spent all of their time bludgeoning Strider and Banana Smoothie. Grimplex and Derp got to just build themselves up and become kind of unstoppable. Excited currently building a bunch of T2 shields with the commander. I mean, what else are you gonna do? There was a Tsar under production. I think it died. Gonna try and build it over here instead now. Give up, Buster. You can't win. If you do win, it'd be epic. It's nice to see some banter between these players. Although I guess the northern team isn't really bantering at all. And as we progress, just so many boats out from Grimplex. Let's just check Grimplex's navy again. Oh, okay. Yeah, 250,000 mass in boats. He has a Maver worth of boats for anybody curious. That's a lot of boats, is what I'm trying to say. I told you there would be lot boat, and this is lot boat. We're just waiting for the northern team to finish its death throes. Another Wassa managed to finish up. But I'm not sure how it's gonna work. 2,000 players or something else. He was easy to beat last game. And with that, Joker control Ks. I'm sure Excited will control K soon. Yeah, that desync's pointless. It doesn't matter. GG, well plays. My bad for losing right side. And with that, all of the players on the northern team control K at once. Thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you to the patrons and the channel members who support me. I appreciate it deeply. If you want to support me further, please consider that. And thank you for watching in general. You all are beautiful. This is Willow, signing off.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the